Yeah.
I will call this meeting to order as an annual meeting. It is 4:48 and we have 6 members present. Our first order of business is the election of officers for the year. That is chair, vice chair, and secretary. I'm willing to stand as secretary, serve as secretary again.
And required.
I'll open the floor to discussion about chair and vice chair.
I'm happy to stay where I am. You guys will have me. I move that the current slate be reelected.
Second.
Discussion? Yeah.
Sounds like a really good idea.
All in favor?
Those opposed?
This is my last meeting for the year, Peter.
Okay. Hand it over to you then.
All right.
It's almost like we planned it.
So I assume second Thursday, this same time.
Yes, I have a regular meeting schedule here, which is just going. Not only here, it's almost as if I came prepared. Here we go. And this is just the second Thursday of the month for the rest of the year. In room 235, except for you'll see April and May, we have to be upgraded, unfortunately, to the room next door. But I'll remind you of that closer to the time. And this notice will just be posted at the front of the county office building once you have all adopted it.
Do we need a motion to approve the schedule? Yeah.
Yes, please.
Moved. Question?
Before we leave the total election, where are we in terms of board members? Are we at capacity, or do we have, are you going to give us an idea of who rolls off? Or?
I can do more detail next meeting if you would like. We have 9 positions and all 9 positions are filled. But if you want more details about when those terms expire, I could do that.
I was just reappointed. I was.
We've had a few reappointments. I think you two most recently, and Sherry was reappointed in December, I think. Yeah. There's no limit on how many times a director can serve.
I come from the Tin Winston.
Did we have a vote on that item?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right.
Thank you.
James,
Yes.
Would it be just make my life easier, not to make your work harder, but is there like could you do a calendar invite that would like for the whole sequence for the year that will invite us all?
If the software, like if Outlook will do that, yeah, I'll try doing that and invite you all to it.
You get it? I know we don't always have them. Sometimes they get
canceled. Yeah.
We just put it on my calendar.
Sure.
An option says every month you put a date in.
I know, but it's just like it makes, like I said, it would make my life easier and his life harder.
That's not the purpose.
Happy to do it.
See if we could all come up with something. All right, remote participation and virtual meeting policy.
Yes, this is just readoption of the standard policy that allows for all virtual meetings and individual remote participation for in-person meetings, which by state law, I believe, needs to be readopted every year.
When do you want to read that?
Yeah, I understand. I want to know about. You do that every time, or is there you limited to some other time?
Yeah, you're limited in both cases. So as an individual, you're limited to 2 meetings a year or a quarter of the meetings, whichever is greater for individual remote participation. And you have to have certain reasons to do that, such as your own health, your family's health, or personal matters like business. And
James, could I just clarify?
yes,
Very quickly
please.
on that? So that number limitation applies only to personal reasons. You could conceivably have unlimited remote participation for personal illness or family illness, but in terms of personal matters, that's where they've got the.
Thanks for that.
And hopefully it's not an issue for anybody.
Thank you. And similar limitations on all virtual meetings for this body. You can have all virtual meetings for special meetings, which is not the regularly scheduled meetings, or regular meetings if we're under emergency or weather events and that sort of matter.
I'm allowed to vote if you're this week from virtual.
I believe so.
What
Does
was,
it count as a quorum?
you're not counted towards there has to be a quorum that's physically present.
Oh, okay.
So you can't get to a quorum if, with a 9-member body, you need at least 5 people actually physically present in person. Then they will admit the remote person, and then that person, once admitted, becomes part of the quorum.
So you could, in theory, admit somebody and then somebody could leave from the physical meeting.
Then you lose the quorum. Then you lose the quorum.
Would someone like to read the motion, please? Chair.
I've got my glasses on. I move that the Albemarle Conservation Easement Authority adopt the remote participation in virtual meeting policy for 2026.
Further discussion? All in favor? Are there any other matters?
We don't have anyone online.
All right. Read the minutes. Yes. Comments? No. Motion to approve the November minutes.
So moved.
For a second. Discussion? All in favor? Aye. Great, James.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you for getting through all of that admin. First order of business is a utility easement request on Clifton Lake property for location. These parcels here, this intersection here is the Pentops I-64 intersection. The properties are just across the artificial lake from Clifton Inn. The request is for Dominion is seeking an underground utility easement 15 feet wide along the side of the existing driveway to connect to another existing utility easement that bends around the driveway to serve parcel 7923, just that northern parcel. The deed permits utilities and the easements, therefore, as improvements and facilities customarily and related to the use of a single parcel. The only point of note is that further down in the deed, it says that no structure or improvement nor earth disturbing activity shall be located on critical slopes, defined as slopes of 25% or greater. You can see that comes into play here. The proposed utility easement is in dashed yellow, and critical slopes are marked in the kind of salmon pink, and it intersects an area of critical slopes. It's staff's opinion that this is not an issue in this case for a few reasons. One, this area of critical slopes, looking at the contour lines, appears to be an artificial area of critical slopes when they built the road. It's not directly above a water feature. The third one is the earth disturbing activity is under the critical slopes. So we felt that there would be no reason for erosion. And the fourth reason is that if we were to ask Dominion to find an alternative routing, we would be asking them to cut a clearing through trees that doesn't already exist. This is the existing clearing.
And this is gonna be directionally drilled underground, right?
Yes.
And can you go back to the park clause? I would not interpret, personally would not interpret the disturbing activity to be directional drilling underground, except for the point of entry.
Yeah.
Surface, that would be, I guess, surface disturbance.
Mhm.
This is subsurface
Yeah.
disturbance.
We didn't want to just slide right over this term.
Yeah. No, I'm glad you pointed
But
it out, but I
yeah.
would take that, that would be pretty useful in surface.
Mhm. So that's all for the presentation, just to say that our recommendation is to approve it.
This is,
I just have a quick question. So we were dealing with easement violations. Is this the same?
Same property.
It's the
Yeah.
exact same.
Yes,
but they can run power and stuff.
that's not.
Just curious.
Right.
But this was brought to us by the utility as part of a larger project.
That
So
was my
they're
next
just
question.
unrelated.
Yeah.
They're doing work in that area that includes this parcel and others.
Is Dominion asking us to sign it?
So
No.
They just want to find in that it's not in. Yeah. So this is part of their that whole strategic underground project.
Mhm.
So their current lines are above ground?
There isn't a current line in this location.
How's
But-
how's the property served?
I don't know.
It's not going to serve this property at all.
Wait a minute, wait.
it is, it's,
If there was anything in here, I thought, it says, will not serve other properties.
Mhm.
What is that?
Is
I mean,
It means that the deed permits utilities to serve the property
okay.
under easement, but it doesn't say anything about utility lines crossing as kind of transmission lines. But that's not
Sort of.
Yeah.
Well,
right.
T into something.
So. Surface, it seems okay, but the devil's always in what the right of way agreement looks like and what the language says.
Mhm.
Agreement, we're going through that. So my way of thinking of the approval of this body should be conditioned upon reading whatever right of way language Dominion is proposing for this particular easement.
Yeah. And that was included in the staff report. Did you have a chance to read it?
But I didn't stick out in my mind.
No, it looks very standard language to me. I reviewed it. It includes the right to lay, construct, operate, and maintain one or more lines of underground cables. It includes the right to access the property to maintain it. It includes the right to install, operate, and maintain certain above ground facilities associated with the underground line. And there was one other point.
Is there language that says it's for the exclusive use of this parcel?
Yes.
No,
What does it serve?
no, but it refers to this plan, which makes it specific.
right.
Well-
It,
Again, I just. I'm scared. It's served as property, so.
so the reason we didn't see that as an issue is that with the current easements, there's no way even with this easement, there's no way they could serve other properties because they don't have easements extending beyond. So if they did want to turn this one into a transmission, they would need to acquire more easements in the future.
On the property that we hold easements on or from
Yes.
someone else? Okay,
Yeah.
okay. So we'd have something to say about.
Yes.
Any extension.
Yeah.
Or coming in the back.
Mhm.
Okay. Again, my experience with these things, they're slippery slope, and so, you know, the argument is always, well, we're 90% of the way there, we need the next 10% if they want to do something else, in my way of thinking, there's no reason not to have explicit language in the right of way agreement that says it's service property, it's property. The problem we're seeing with these right of way agreements is that they, in many cases, they didn't contemplate the future. So what was written in the right of way has really no bearing on what's taking place today. So again, that would be my conclusion.
Yeah.
What if the approval that we gave, not approval, the finding that it is not in conflict with the easement, were such that we found that it wasn't in conflict with the easement if the right of way is limited to only being used to serve property?
Another way to get to the same place, right?
Yeah, but that would be the caveat that we could add to the approval. That it's only, we're finding that this, provided it serves the property, it's not in conflict.
The only thing I'll say is whatever the minutes are for this meeting, 40 years from now, may not exist. Whereas the right of way agreement will.
Now, if you all act and the text of that motion says that the authority found it not to be in conflict with the deed or be permitted under the deed, as long as it serves on this property, we're going to put that same language in James's letter to the Dominion representative. So everybody's going to know that that's the extent of what's being approved.
What, I'm feeling kind of tense here. What is this line serving?
The house, the dwelling of the Blacks.
Okay, it is.
There
It's just
appears to be
coming out somewhere else.
there's a box just across the property line, and I'm trying to find, I believe it's probably served by above ground lines, but I can't quite see it in the aerials.
Okay.
But it seems like that grayed out internal routing along the driveway there is
Oh, I
is
got you.
what feeds toward the house.
Okay.
And what they're trying to get to is just run underground from the neighboring property to
To that.
that line that goes up the driveway. And that's it.
Did you guys look at the splits? It probably doesn't mention it, but what's the subdivision clause of the easement say? Is it?
It allows two lots, which is what it was. It was two to begin with, and it was
But it doesn't reference any conveyances of rights of way or thing. Generally.
I looked at it just this afternoon and I don't remember that. I think it was just a paragraph saying we can pull it up.
I near dear to my heart, and so I think it's far clearer if the right of way agreement specifies whatever we agree on. And there are examples that we're dealing with right now for agreements with Dominion that go back to 1980 and that are important, and nobody has a record of what transpired in 1980, much less when the right of ways were originally granted in the late 1920s. And so these things have a way of evolving in ways that people don't understand at this point or can't contemplate, and the information associated with a meeting like this can easily get lost in the shuffle. So my preference would be to have language in the right of way that says that to serve this property.
Let's come up with that language right now. Let's make it concise and compact and limiting right now.
I don't want us to draft it.
Because
the text of their proposed easement.
Mhm.
Pretty clear.
On the back. For the record, I don't know if that's something that they do. I don't know if that's something that they would accept or be happy with, but And I should also say that nothing in the deed says that this body's permission or approval is required. So some of our deeds say you may do X with approval. This is just a case of someone coming in and wanting an overlying easement. And we've been advised that when someone wants an overlying easement on property that we hold interest in, it's prudent for them to kind of seek approval from that easement holding body.
What's prudent? How does that stand in court?
I don't know.
Covering them. So if they were being brutish, they could just go ahead and bury it,
Mhm.
not ask us, which is uncharacteristic of them. So,
I mean, to their credit, when they find that they've got a property with a conservation easement, they're checking with the holders, make sure there isn't a conflict.
all right, so how do we do this? Do we come up with a motion with the language in it? Request a language?
I think this is simple enough that defer to the attorneys if they disagree, but I think this is simple enough that I can convey what you have said and we'll all understand when they've
Okay.
met the mark or not.
To clarify, giving permission, but this can only serve this property.
I think that would be helpful if you're willing to kind of preemptively find that such an easement with such language is permitted, so we don't have to come back for another meeting.
Where is that reported? Is it going to be reported in this? Or is it going to be typed into this agreement?
That's how I understand your request, yeah. Signed by the landowners and Dominion.
Yeah, Mike.
Yeah,
Right, I mean, at some point, I'm not sure whether this particular document's already been recorded or whether they were reading on our,
No.
they recorded, so, but it sounds like, notwithstanding the fact that it's already been signed, that the direction of the authority is to go back and insist that it be amended and then re-signed and then forwarded to them.
I've already asked them to introduce an exhibit A as required that says this land is under conservation easement that you can find at this deed book and page number, and all successive landowners are holding to that, and that's written in the easement itself that that's required. So she already needs to go back to the landowners to obtain that signature.
What's the cause of the easement that requires that?
It's in part 3, any future conveyance must mention, I'm paraphrasing, but any future conveyance must
So just
mention. Yeah.
Go back to the motion. And I just wanted to clarify, you used the word permission. We're not giving anybody permission for any.
We find that what
We're finding that it does not
It
conflict.
does not conflict. Right.
We can adjust our future
Well, that's
suggested
the-
motion. Yeah, and we can adjust our
Replace
future
it.
suggested motions.
Does not conflict.
Yeah, we're not permitting it. We're saying it does not, nor are we making a finding that it's okay, or we're saying it's not in conflict with it, provided that it's for the sole use of the property.
So do we need some, was that a motion?
Provided that the instrument indicate that the electric easement provide that it's for the sole use of
So it sounds like the direct, yeah. I perhaps would be willing to just make the motion without the instrument, but in deference to my colleague, Mr. Taylor.
I just want staff to have clear direction.
Yes, yeah, I appreciate it.
Yeah, so I'm saying we need to decide which of those is the case.
Correct, and if there's a direction.
That's a good clarification.
If there's a direction to require it in the instrument, that should be part of it.
Yeah. So that's, I think, the thing of discussion. Do we want to have that required in the instrument? Or do we want that just to be required, or to be a caveat of our finding of not in conflict? It's not in conflict. We could find that it's not in conflict, provided that it doesn't, that it only serves the property. Or we could say we find that it's not in conflict, provided that the instrument conveying the right of way requires that it only serve the property.
Yeah.
That,
Yeah.
the latter. So everybody feels comfortable with
Solid, yeah, like there aren't extra other pieces of paper out there. There's not another.
Yeah.
Was that a motion?
the latter.
I think Pete would, by Pete saying ladder was. Also. Okay.
If that's sufficient, I will second.
All right, it's a
Is that
first.
sufficient, James?
I believe so. I just want to make sure that I get it.
The effect of finds that the requested finds that a underground utility easement on the property does not conflict with the conservation easement, provided that the instrument recording said right of way requires that the underground utility only serve the subject property.
But, does that really work? I mean, because then you're just saying it's the wire. But what you really want to say is that the easement itself can't be extended or widened.
Sure, okay, so yeah, I said the, yeah, so that the easement corridor can only serve the subject property. Yeah, that's what you're clarifying. I used a different word.
Not built out as a sub,
I think we're saying the same thing. It's one house on the property, right? There's two houses, but
but is that considered subdivision?
It's just a short little road.
I mean,
James, just a quick question. So the property that's across from them, that Ricky Bobby property, that's a large tract that's on the market.
Mhm.
Is Dominion running power to that? Do you know?
Not that we know of. And we're not aware of any construction on that property that would require power.
Market price, $8 million. So
We'll come to that in close.
I was just curious why they would put one
So-
just there as being underground if they're not back there doing something.
So that parcel is under this same conservation easement, so it doesn't have division rights. So I have a motion on the floor, I believe, and I will quote that Director Linville moves that the authority find, I'm going to say the proposed underground utility easement. I believe you said a underground utility easement. I want to specify that this only applies to this. The proposed underground utility easement in the application is not in conflict with the conservation easement, provided that the instrument recording said right of way requires that the easement corridor can only serve this
got all
property,
The subject.
the subject property. Yeah.
the subject property,
The under easement.
the property under easement.
Yeah.
Which would include the parcel to the south.
That's
See why
even
that would be a
better.
problem.
Yeah.
Because then.
But doesn't that mean that they can? I'd say the subject parcel, because we said the parcel's under easement, it means that they can jump across that line. No, never mind.
So they might be able to, depending on what the
Only to,
easement says.
only to
Usually-
one
usually
other
the-
parcel in the same easement.
Yeah, usually when the two parcels are, I mean, that's part of the point of the subdivision, for that clause is to allow the utility right of way on one portion of the easement, subject, from property subject to the, to get access to power or road or whatever. It's the unprotected properties that you don't want to be able to serve.
All right, further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Unanimous.
Thank you.
All right, so can I read this, James?
Yes, and it's also on the screen.
Move that the Albemarle Conservation Easement Authority convene a closed meeting pursuant to section 2.2-3711A of the Code of Virginia. In subsection 8, offices of council advice, but legal knowledge relates to interpretation of conservation easement language addressing permitted land uses that requires supervision, legal advice by such council.
So we have a motion and a second, and I believe this requires a roll call vote. So let me get that. Yeah. Second, Director Fennell.
Aye.
Director Taylor.
Aye.
Director Emmett. Director Linville.
Aye.
Director Merrick.
Aye.
Director Moore. Thank you. I will now pause the.
Are we good?
We appreciate it. We all-
Yes.
Her second, so.
I move the Albemarle Conservation Easement Authority certify by a recorded vote that the best of each member's knowledge, really public business matters lawfully exempted from the open meeting requirements of Virginia Freedom of Information Act and identified in the motion authorizing the closed meeting were heard, discussed, or considered in the closed meeting.
Second, could anyone second? Thank you. Director Fennell.
Aye.
Director Taylor.
Aye.
Director Emmett. Director Linville. Director Merrick. Director Moore. Thank you. We just have a couple of very quick informational items. I know we're well past time, so if people need to leave, then you're welcome to do so. Just 5 minutes or so for showing you what we've been up to in 2025 as kind of habit of progress report. So in terms of acquisition, 3 easements were recorded: the Oak Fields up north of Free Union, Urgler and Whitehall, and Carlson, very close to Dragon Mountain. McCormick Ray was also approved and was all ready to go, and the landowner backed out, unfortunately, at the last minute. Other holders recorded 7 easements or amendments that protected new lands for 1,500 acres recorded. This is yes, this big one up here. Also includes Cobham Park, which was reviewed and rejected, or at least sent back for feedback. There was a disagreement. He found another holder. This just gives you the total easements held in the county, split by holder. If you're interested in this, in looking at it in more detail, then I can send it to you afterwards. But in the interest of time,
Bill number 1.
as in the county is number 1.
I tried to find ranking that, but it's
McCormick Gray was 3 small parcels, total of 16 acres, kind of south of Whitehall, that they combined.
Big stream valley.
And they were willing to combine. We drafted a deed, did a baseline report, everything was ready, and I don't know why they pulled out. Totals based on the type of easement, obviously, by and large, most of the authority's easements are donations, and the ACE program is still paused.
We'll point out, speaking of records, I believe that makes us the largest county run or locality run easement program in the state, at least in terms of acreage.
In terms of stewardship, we have Montana Loca, who is our part-time easement field monitor, funded by VLCF funds that come in to the body because when the body accepts donations that are then used for tax credits, the holder gets some money for stewardship. That money is being used to pay Montana. Last year, she monitored 66 easements. We dealt with 5 approval requests, utility easements, and pre-harvest plans, that sort of thing, and investigated 9 violations. Many of which were resolved, some of which we've discussed tonight. And just a final thing, just wanted to put that all in context for new acquisitions. This is easement authority easements recorded over time since 1990. That was the first one. The blue line represents the number of individual easements, the orange bars, the acreage of those easements. So you can see there was a peak in the late 2000s. That was true for all holders. It was a busy time. And there's been a bit of a dip in recent years, which again is true for all holders in Albemarle. So that's all I have for the updates. You saw the 1-pager.
Thank you.
Otherwise, you want us to send it?
Any new business?
I just have one really quick thing. As people may or may not know, Dominion has gone public with plans to wreck and rebuild the transmission line from Charlottesville to Gordonsville into a new 230 kilovolt two-service line. The whole height will get held easement on Strawberry Hill Farm, at the edge of Albemarle County, and the right of way agreements in that very carefully. There may be some language for the whole height near the substation, but that's not going to be yet. But in a way, this body may get involved to the extent that there are issues on the Strawberry Hill property.
This goes with the Boston property, which is what was this one. First, it was,
I don't know which property that is.
right up on the county line.
Way up by Orange.
Yeah.
The line,
Anyway,
the right of way does go over.
Yeah.
well, that's
Happy
Happy
Creek.
I don't know the answer, but that's, anyway, the Keswick community is very focused on this, and very organized, and we've actually gone through all the right of way agreements. Really going back, Strawberry Hill was 1926, first right of way was. So hence my diatribe of why every word counts.
Got it. Thank you for that.
Well, the legal work.
We already have.
All right, in old business.
Just a quick update to say that the homestay permit that you all saw in November for the Ragged Branch property was approved by the board earlier this month.
Thanks for that.
Excellent. Who wants to go home
Me.
or out? You can stay. You can go home. Don't stay.
So, Mr. Chair, we're adjourned.
We are adjourned.
Formally.
It's one piece of protocol. I don't think. we've ever-
All in favor?